Welcome guys, this is Carrie Rhinehart with 5-Minute Math. I am looking at solving equations with variables on both sides. If you're following along in the book, this is from Algebra 1, Unit 2, Lesson 3. So today we've got the variable, whatever it is, x or y or m or whatever it is, but you've got it in two places on each side of the equal sign. So you need to be able to combine those so that it's just one. So let's look at an example. We've got 2x minus 1 equals 5x plus 2. Now, keep in mind, what you do to one side, you've got to do to the other. Okay? And also that you need to move in reverse order of operations. Now, also, don't forget, if you can simplify on one side of the equation, you need to do that before you start moving from one side to the other. And if you've got the same variable on two sides, then I recommend that you get those together first. You don't have to, but I feel like it's the easiest. Most of my students find it, is less confusing if they do it that way. So if you notice, we've got 2x and 5x. So we've got that variable on both sides, and we need to get those together. I can't simplify anything on the left-hand side. 2x minus 1, I can't combine those. And on the right-hand side, I can't combine anything. 5x plus 2, those are unlike terms. I can't combine those. But I do want to get my 2x and my 5x together. So I can either move the 2x over to the other side, or I can move the 5x over to the left side. It doesn't matter what you do, but I prefer to end up with a positive variable. So if I move the 2x over, which I'd have to subtract because it's positive, if I subtract 2x from 5x, I'm going to get a positive 3. But if I decide to move 5x to the left side, I'd have to subtract it. 2x minus 5x is going to give me a negative 3. So I prefer to do the positive way, which is to subtract the 2x. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides so that I can combine those like variables. So these 2x's cancel. I can bring down this negative 1 equals, 5x minus 2x is 3x, and we also still have that plus 2 to bring down. And now we're back to just what we did in the last unit. We need to get everything that's with the x to the other side. So we've got a 3 times x, and we have a plus 2, and we need to get rid of both of those so that x will be by itself. And you need to work in reverse order of operations. So I need to deal with the plus 2 first. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 2 because we need to do the opposite operation. Make sure what you do to one side, you do to the other. Okay, so I'm going to subtract that so it cancels here. I can bring down my 3x that's left over equals negative 1 minus 2 is negative 3. And now last, I need to get rid of that 3 that's with the x. It's 3 times x, so I do the opposite, which is to divide by the 3. But what you do to one side, make sure you do to the other. Okay, so we end up with negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1 equals, and there's just an x left over here. And then you're done. Go back, plug it negative 1 in for x in the original equation, and check that. All right, let me look at another one. All right, let's look at negative 3 times quantity 2x minus 2, and I say quantity because that's in parentheses, equals 5x minus 10. Again, I'm going to draw my vertical line. And we do have variables on both sides. So there's a couple ways that you can do this, but the easiest thing to do in this case is to distribute the negative 3 because I want to be able to combine my x's. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute this negative 3 because it's negative 3 times this whole quantity. So I'm going to distribute those. So negative 3 times 2x is negative 6x. And then I've got negative 3 times negative 2, which is a positive 6, equals 5x minus 10. Okay, now I want to get my x's together. So I need this negative 6x and this 5x. I need to combine those. And you can move whichever one you like, but I think it's best to add 6x to both sides. Since it's minus 6x, I do the opposite, which is plus 6x. And what you do to one side, you've got to do to the other. All right, so once we do that, these cancel out, and we're left with 6 on this side equals, 5x plus 6x is 11x. Bring down that minus 10. And now we just need to get x by itself. So we need to get rid of the 11, which is being multiplied by the x, and the 10, which we're subtracting. So we're going to deal with addition and subtraction first. So I'm going to get rid of that 10. Remember, we do the opposite operation. So I need to do plus 10 to both sides so that they cancel out on this side. Well, 6 plus 10 is 16 equals, bring down an 11x. And then our last step is to get rid of that 11. It's 11 times x, so the opposite will be to divide by 11 so that they cancel out here. Well, 16 divided by 11 is going to be a decimal, so you can just leave it as 16/11. It doesn't reduce, equals x. Okay. Now, the instructions may say round to the nearest hundredth or something like that. In that case, you can just type in 16 divided by 11 in your calculator or do long division, and you'll have your answer.